Hello and welcome into the Hawkeye Headquarters Weekly podcast. Evan Denton alongside Joel Kellar. It is a tale of two different programs. The women are sky high, whereas the men, oh man, they're at the bottom of the ocean, if you will, because they had a very tough week, to say the least.
Yeah, unexpected.
Unexpected, my goodness, at the very worst time of the year. But let's start on a positive, all right?
Yeah.
The Iowa women, they are on a roll. No Hannah Stuelke, no problem. They go into Wisconsin, beat the Badgers again, 81-52. It was close at halftime. Second half, though, they just absolutely steamroll. Joel, this team is for real.
Yeah, and that third quarter, 26-9 in the third quarter, nothing could go wrong. That was so fun to watch. It seems like the team was just playing fluid. Everything was working. It helps when every shot basically goes in.
Yep.
Makes everything look a little better. But I thought it was really cool how even with Stuelke out and all those rotation changes, the team looked really put together. They knew what everyone was doing. They knew their role, and it was fun. It was a fun game.
They had 5 players in double digits, including both the Wisconsin natives of Taylor Stremlow and Tegan Mullaney making a comeback to the lineup back in her home state of Wisconsin. So that was great to see. But my goodness, they've now won 6 straight games going into the Big Ten tournament. They're going to be a 2 seed. Yes, this young Iowa women's team has earned a 2 seed in the Big Ten tournament. Job well done to Jan Jensen. If they win the Big Ten tournament, and that includes a win over UCLA, could they be a 1 seed in the NCAA tournament?
It's tough because you got UConn. I think UCLA would have to stay there, and South Carolina would be there as well.
And the fourth number 1 is Texas.
And that's yeah, I think Iowa would jump Texas, assuming South Carolina wins.
Right.
I think you'd have to give the Big Ten champs some glory.
Could you imagine Iowa have the number 1 seed next to their name and there's no Caitlin Clark on the roster?
It'd be amazing. I mean, it's a testament to what this program has turned into. It's like they're up with the big dogs now.
Right. 20-plus wins in 10 straight years. That is no joke. They just handed out the regular season awards for the Big Ten. Corey Close, UCLA head coach, won Coach of the Year. I think Jan Jensen should have won it.
I agree. I think it helps when you have the best player in the Big Ten on your team. And everyone knew UCLA was going to be good coming in. Well, Iowa, I mean, people were leaving Iowa out of the top 5 for the preseason rankings. So it's like Jan Jensen has done such a good job with, I mean, seemingly less talent than UCLA has. So I would have given it to Jan Jensen. No, she is obviously like the clear number 2. Right. So I mean, respect to that. And UCLA they've had a great year. So
we've said it all year. Iowa, 9 of the 13 players on the roster are either freshmen or sophomores, and that includes Ava Hayden, who was just named to the Big Ten first team. No surprise there.
Nope, she deserves it. I mean, she has carried this offense.
Yep. Carried
the team really, especially through a lot of trying times, a lot of injuries. Players not really being what we all thought they were coming into the season. Yeah, she's let the Hawks through.
I think you can call her a walking double-double.
Yeah.
WDD, if you will. You can trademark
quiet
that.
Walking double,
Quiet walking double-double. She has been legit all year long. Hannah Stuelke gets second team. Chit-Chat Wright, third team, and honorable mention. But let's go to the all-freshman team, all right? The Iowa freshmen have been a big part of this team, obviously. The Big Ten gives the nod to Addie Deal on the all-freshman team over a Davenport native in Journey Houston who has been dynamite down the stretch for the Hawkeyes. That was my biggest surprise.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, Addie Deal, she had a good little stretch there in January, but I mean, you look at the season as a whole, Journey Houston's had a much bigger impact than Addie Deal, and it's not a lot of hate on Addie Deal there.
Yeah.
Like, she's obviously grown, but she's came in moments where Iowa has really needed someone to step up at the forward position. Journey Houston's gotten to work.
For example, Iowa's most recent home game against Illinois down the stretch, it was Journey Houston knocking down free throw line jump shots, getting key rebounds down the stretch. She was the one in the game. Addie Dill, yes, she'll probably have a great career at Iowa, but in terms of accolades right now, I feel as if Journey Houston got overlooked and got snubbed, in my opinion.
I agree. I think they were looking maybe at what their star rating was coming out of high school and in college, and just kind of cemented their freshman top 5 before the season even started.
And I guess going back to the Big Ten Player of the Year, yes, Lauren Betts, best player on the number 1 team in the conference. I think she was probably my number 3 for the Big Ten Player of the Year, behind Ava Hayden, who came out of nowhere, and then Jelani Cambridge at Ohio State. We said that Ava Hayden is a quiet walking bucket. Jelani, from deep, mid-range, she can score at all 3 levels. I think she deserved more recognition.
I agree, and she I mean, comparatively to Iowa and UCLA, her team, her supporting cast is not nearly as good too,
right?
Which puts that much more pressure on her. And I mean, she's been phenomenal. She got Ohio State in a pretty solid position to make some noise here in March. I think they're going to be maybe a popular pick to go a little deeper than people originally think on their seed.
So when the NCAA revealed its top 16 teams at the moment for women's basketball, there were more than 5 Big Ten teams in that top 16. I mean, does that show that the Big Ten might be the best conference this year for women's basketball?
Oh, 100%. I don't even think it's close. You know, you could go at the top and say, like, yeah, UConn's probably better than anyone in the Big Ten.
Right.
But, I mean, top to bottom, the Big Ten, it is grueling. I mean, we've seen it this year. It seems like the Iowa women were playing a ranked team almost every week,
every night,
basically. Yeah. So, I mean, it's a phenomenal conference.
And so UCLA is going to be a Final Four favorite, if you will. Iowa's a dark horse. So is Michigan. Then you've got people like Michigan State in there. Illinois could be a fun team to watch. There are a handful of teams that have been surprises. Minnesota has probably been the biggest surprise in the entire conference. So don't be surprised if there are maybe 4 or 5 Big Ten teams in the Sweet 16 and then 3 or 4 in the Elite 8.
Yeah. I would almost go up to 8 in the Sweet 16, especially if, I mean, depending how the bracket lays out, if we're not seeing a bunch of Big Ten teams go against each other in the second round, I mean, I just don't see them losing to middle-of-the-pack Big 12 teams, middle-of-the-pack SEC teams. You know, I think the Big Ten, they're stronger at the top and even stronger in the, like, middle ground. Like, oh, they're almost great, but they're still really good.
Yep. And one more accolade to point out, Kylie Feuerbach is on the first team all-defense. She has been dynamite on the defensive side all year for Iowa, so shout out to her. Iowa goes 24-5 in the overall regular season, 15-3 in the Big Ten. If you had to pick an MVP, probably Ava Heiden's the front runner, but if you had to pick a MVP for this team right now, who would it be?
It's 100% Ava Heiden, yeah. And I mean, Stolke was inconsistent to start the year, and it seemed like she finally found her footing, and then here she is with an arm injury, and now she's down and probably questionable for the Big Ten tournament. So, I mean, Hawks are battling through that. McCabe is out for the season, battling through that. Addie Deal hasn't made as much of an instant impact as people thought. So all these things could have just ruined the Iowa season. You know, Iowa could have stumbled into like a 7 or an 8 seed and been maybe a sneaky Sweet 16 team. But no, instead we're actually talking about legitimate Final Four opportunity for this team.
So I'm going to change the definition of MVP from most valuable player to most valuable person. So we go kind of off the radar. Randy Henderson. All right. Okay. She is the go-to low post coach who's been very instrumental in both Ava Heiden's growth and Hannah Stolke's growth over the last 4 years. And just to see the confidence that Ava Heiden is playing with right now, she gives a lot of that credit to Randy Henderson, kind of an under-the-radar assistant coach who has made a massive impact for Iowa. So I'm going to go with Randy Henderson for my MVP.
Yeah, I like that. And Iowa's continuing to pump out those great post players. I mean, we've seen Layla Hayes, you know, not as much as we did at the beginning of the year, but she still went out against Wisconsin, played some solid minutes, and you can tell she looks a little more fluid. Like her footwork is way better. It was way better on Sunday than it was earlier in the season. So I'd expect her to make a big jump next year.
Gotcha. So Iowa women's next game is on Friday in the Big Ten tournament in Indy, and they've all but guaranteed themselves at least one NCAA tournament home game inside of Carver Hawkeye Arena. It's been 2 years since then, but Joel, Carver Hawkeye is going to be rocking when the NCAA tournament comes around.
It's going to be electric. I still remember when they hosted a couple of years ago. It was so fun. Packed, standing room only. Got people up at the top on the right on those poles up there after the last row, which honestly is kind of nice. You have to walk up all the Carver Hawkeye stairs. Like if you're courtside, it's a long way up.
It might be a safety hazard, but hey, it's going to be a 6-woman advantage for sure. But think about it. 9 of the 13 players, freshmen and sophomores, they've never played a tournament game inside Carver. So maybe they might be a little starstruck, but my goodness, the crowd is going to bring the energy.
Yeah, and like I said, they're going to need it. I mean, they're going to be young. They don't have that experience. And there could be a bad draw where, say, Iowa gets Tennessee in round 2, and they're really going to need the sixth man of the crowd.
Absolutely. All right, so that's the top part of the Iowa overall basketball program. Let's go to the flip side, talking about the Iowa men. My goodness, a tale of 2 weeks in one. They beat Ohio State. They dismantle Ohio State, a bubble team, thinking, okay, we've got everything to go. And then they go on the road and lose to last place Penn State. A loss that we talked about a lot on this show that it just could not happen. And sure enough, it did. And Joel, this team, they're not solidified yet into the tournament.
They're not. They're so close, though.
Yes.
I think that Ohio State one got them basically in. Right now, they're sitting on a 9 seed for most bracketology brackets. But yeah, I mean that's how you kind of like throw your season up in air. Is a loss to the worst Big Ten team there is in Penn State. They've won before that game. They won 2 games all year in the Big Ten. Now it's 3.
Yeah, and so we talk about, yes, Iowa just beat Ohio State. Well, Ohio State rebounds and they take down Purdue. All right, a team that has beaten Iowa twice this year.
Yep.
So when you look at Iowa's resume, they have a top 10 win over Nebraska. But they also have 2 losses to both Maryland and Penn State, the bottom 2 teams in the conference. So when you weigh this against each other, does a top 10 win outweigh 2 terrible losses, or does the 2 terrible losses outweigh a top 10 win?
I'd say right now, the win outweighs them, but that's just because Penn State currently is a quad 2 loss only. The Maryland loss is quad 3. If Penn State drops to quad 3, then that's where things are going to get a little iffy.
Yeah.
I mean, the Hawks are an analytical darling. I mean,
they are, yes.
They're efficient on offense, efficient on defense. That's probably going to be what gets them in. But if you're looking at resumes right now, I mean, you compare Ohio State to Iowa, and if that Penn State game turns to a quad 3 loss, that's 2 quad 3 losses to Ohio State's 0. They just have 1 quad 2 loss, too. So it's getting to that point. Iowa's going to have to make some noise the rest of the way.
So there's some good news that Iowa still has 2 more ranked teams on its schedule. There's also some bad news. Iowa has 2 more ranked teams on its schedule, both against Michigan at home for senior day and then on the road at Nebraska. There are chances for wins, but Joel, you were at the press conference for both Ben McCollum and Bennett Sturts. Are they sensing any kind of nervousness?
I don't think they're sensing too much nervousness. I mean, they kind of know what they have to do and rely on the seniors, rely on Sturts.
Yeah.
You think big picture here. They did what they need to this year, and now everything else is gravy. But what kind of concerns me is McCollum had a little bit that he said about the defense. He said that they've been solid, they've been elite at times, and we've seen that against Nebraska. But, right now it seems like teams are figuring them out. And what it is late shot clock or ISO ball. And that is extremely hard to fix, especially this late in the year. And I think it kind of comes down to the athleticism of these players. I mean, Iowa already coming into the Big Ten. This is a Drake team.
This is a
Northwest State team.
Yeah.
This isn't a Big Ten team with Big Ten recruits. So they're already at that disadvantage there. Now, they've had a grueling schedule. Yeah. All these guys are used to playing in the Midwest for the entire season. Well, how about this? You're going out to California, going out to Pennsylvania, to Rutgers. So. Yeah, I think they're kind of feeling the weight of that, and it's been harder for them to match up with them athletically, and that's why you're seeing ISO ball beat them.
You bring up a very good point about ISO ball, because going back to the Penn State game, Josh Reed, great player, left-hander for Penn State, he dropped 25 points, and a lot of that came in the low post. He might have been more athletic than who was defending him from Iowa, and yeah, I think the blueprint is out there about how to take down this once vaunted Iowa defense is you go hunting matchups, and as of right now, the way that Iowa is constructed on the roster, they can't get those matchups right.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought up matchups because Brendan Housen is a guy, he's became a fan favorite.
He did.
People love calling for him to get out there, and I never understood it, and now I really don't understand it. I mean, he's hit a couple of big threes, but I see him more as maybe like a Jack Golke type of guy. Like, he'll hit big threes, but he's a mid-major player.
Not the Oakland name drop. Very, very nice, Joel. Ball knower right here.
I've been watching ball for all my life, but he's not the type of guy who's going to win a game in the Big Ten.
Right.
And he's a defensive liability, I think. And it might be harsh to say that, but at this point in the year, I don't think you can throw Benninghausen out there.
He's not your 3-and-D player because his defense, like Joel said, is a liability.
Yeah.
So.
And he is short. That's
a little
not
bit,
his
yes.
fault.
Yeah. But on the flip side, he's getting minutes in the Penn State game specifically over Tate Sage, who has more length, is a little bit taller, and can also shoot the ball pretty well when he's in rhythm. That matchup, or I guess lineup situation, kind of took me by surprise.
It did for me too, and especially this late in the year to make a change like that. When it seemed like Sage was a guy they relied upon on the bench. Night in, night out, really.
Yep.
And then now you're just gonna throw him in as like a reserve. I don't get it. I don't like it. I don't agree with it.
Well, the Hawkeyes have now lost 3 straight games heading into Thursday when they take on Michigan, the regular season Big Ten champions. So they have Michigan and Nebraska left. All right, can they still make the NCAA tournament and lose both those games?
Yes. And it doesn't make sense, but I think not getting the double bye could benefit the Hawkeyes in the Big Ten tournament, because then you get one more game against a quad 2-ish opponent on a neutral site, and you can kind of just get that win to kind of bolster your resume there before you start playing some of the big boys in the Big Ten in the tournament. It's kind of backward thinking.
I respectfully disagree with you on this. All right, I think that if they do end up losing to both Michigan and Nebraska, not only do they need to win that first game as a 9 seed and then beat the 8 seed who might be Ohio State, I think those 2 wins aren't enough because you're beating teams that are either at your level or lower in talent, all right? So for me, if they lose to both Michigan and Nebraska, they need to be one of the top 4 seeds just to be in the tournament. I think if they don't win a game against a top 4 seed, they're looking at Denton as a prime spot as for the first 4, and that's just not a spot that, in my opinion, you want to be at because that could possibly lead to 3 games in 5 days. I think they have a shot against Michigan purely because Michigan will be without LJ Kaysen, who has proven to be the best backup guard in the country. And we saw with the Iowa women, it takes some time to get used to playing a new rotation. All right, I know LJ Kaysen was not the starter, but if Elliot Cadeau gets in foul trouble, Michigan does not know who their next main ball handler will be. If they go Yassel Lendenborg, they might ask him to be the next Bennett Sturts and play 40 minutes straight, and that's not the recipe that Michigan wants.
Yeah.
So because of that, you factor in the emotion of senior day. I really do think that Iowa, if they can dictate the pace of play, has a legitimate chance to take down Michigan.
Yeah, that's kind of been the thing all year. Can Iowa dictate the pace of play and not get into a shootout? Right. Because the offense is not dynamic enough to get into a shootout.
Correct.
We've seen it time and time again with those 4 or 5 minute scoring droughts that those need to stop if they want any chance.
Yeah. I am intrigued to see how Michigan tries to guard Bennett Sturts because they're not going to put Elliot Cadeau on him.
No.
They might do what they did against Illinois and put Yassel Lendenborg on the go-to scorer from the very start, which if that's the case, Cale Combs, you have to show up against Elliot Cadeau.
Yeah.
All right? And then I think Iowa on defense, it would make more sense to put Tavion Banks on Yassel Lendenborg and just they have no response for Addy Mara, obviously. 7'2", 7'3". But it's going to be a daunting task, but I think of the next 2 games, Iowa's best chance is, believe it or not, against Michigan.
It is, yeah. On the road to Nebraska, a team that really wants revenge.
Yep.
I mean, the court storm, Hoiberg is still fuming after the phone in his face. So they're gonna come out guns a-blazing. They're gonna not look to just beat the Hawkeyes. They're gonna look to make a statement against the Hawkeyes. So I agree. Michigan's the one.
And they're still fighting for a top 4 spot themselves, so they have everything to play for and everything to lose. So Nebraska and Lincoln, it's going to be an incredible environment for sure. All right, so as you all know, Joel is a phenomenal journalist, but we're going to give him a new title, all right? We're going to go look at blind resumes for 2 teams that are either on the bubble or just outside of the NCAA tournament, okay? I have not shown Joel these resumes at all right? So we've got Team A and Team B, okay? So let's go one by one. Team A, quad 1 records 2-5. Team B, 3-7. Both teams are in the top 50 of the net ranking. Team A is not a Power 4 team. Team B is, though, okay? Team A has won 4 of its last 6 games. Team B has lost 4 of its last 6. And both teams are led by first-year head coaches. Okay? Now, if you were looking at this, Joel, you don't know the names of these teams, all right?
I'm trying to think of them, though.
You don't know their overall records.
Yeah.
Who would you take? If you had one spot to give, who are you giving it to and why?
I'm going Team A
Okay.
for sure. I think recency is a big thing that needs to happen in March. I think too often we look at those November games and put meaning in them. And it's like these are completely different teams once you get into February and March. Mm-hmm. So I think I got to go Team A, even though they're not a Power 4 team. You know, they've obviously played enough quality opponents.
Right.
With only, I mean, they've played 7 opponents, 2-5, whereas the other team, Power 4 teams, only played 10 opponents. Mm-hmm. So I don't think that's a big issue for me either. And then both top 50 in the net, that's all you really need.
Yeah. So in your opinion, how important is Team A not being in a Power 4 conference, in your opinion? Does that hurt them at all?
It would only hurt them if their quad 1 record or if their quad 1 games were like 4 or like 3, some a little less. But I mean, to have 7, that's pretty good out of the 29, 30 games that they've played so far.
Gotcha. All right, so here's the big time reveal. Security, get Joel out of the Quad Cities because Team A is actually New Mexico out of the Mountain West, all right? And they're considered to be the last 4 in. Team B is Iowa. And Iowa's considered to be a 9 seed clearly in the tournament. And this is our point, all right?
Yeah.
Without knowing the names, Iowa's resume is not head and shoulders above a team like New Mexico who has a very good case to be in compared to Iowa.
They do. And I'm going to pull something up to defend myself here. Because knowing that one of those teams is Iowa, I do know that Iowa has a pretty high ranking. They're 26 in the net, whereas New Mexico is 44.
Yeah.
So I think looking back at that, like knowing if that was the difference, that'd be the reason why I was in right now, and New Mexico is in.
Can we please zoom in on the shot over Joel's shoulder? Look at Ben McCollum. He's in disbelief of what Joel just said. Like, Joel, you are a native Iowan. You went to Iowa, and you picked someone to go against us right now around the bubble. The audacity of you, Joel Kellar.
Hey, man. They got to win. They got to win. And we both said that. Yep. I think they're still in right now, but we both said they do need to win at least one more game this season.
And so I was in Des Moines the other day for the Iowa girls high school state basketball tournament. Obviously in the media room we were talking about March Madness. And the overall consensus is that Iowa's in. It's not a no-brainer. It's really not. So if you are an Iowa fan watching this, please do not give yourself false hope and false sense of security. There is still a lot of work to be done. Iowa will not just be in because it's in the Big Ten. They have to earn it, and they have every chance to do it. They gotta rack up wins. No more moral victories. They gotta get more signature wins.
Yeah, that's for sure. Especially, I think, with Sturtz kind of wrapping up his career. I think it'd be great to see him go out, like seeing him the best that he's been so far in the black and gold.
Yeah. If they don't make the tournament, is year 1 under our good friend Ben McCollum? Is it a failure?
No, I don't think so. I think they've set the foundation and the expectation. I mean, not really many people expected Iowa to even make the tournament. So just being on the bubble, that's a positive. 20 wins in a season, especially after the last couple of years for the Hawks, that's a positive. And then the big thing is bringing back the fans.
Yep.
I think that for me was the number one thing I wanted to see out of the Hawks this year, and they've done that. And maybe the last couple of losses means the senior night game against Michigan may not be sold out, but people will be in there. They'll get rowdy. We've seen the best crowds for men's basketball than we have since 22, 21 probably. So it's good. I'm here for it.
But for you personally, all right, when you're watching the selection show in a couple of days, in a couple of weeks on Sunday, and you don't hear Iowa's name, how are you going to react?
I'll be upset. Yeah. It'll be upsetting in the moment for sure, and probably through the rest of the tournament. But then get back to next year, get into like October, and I'll be like, okay, like here's all these reasons why we should be excited about Ben McCollum's second year and all the growth.
the word excitement, I think, is a very good word choice because I feel as if they don't go this year with Ben McCollum's probably best player he's ever coached and Bennett Sturts, I think the excitement level is going to drop next year for Iowa men's basketball, which
they'll have to earn it for sure.
Yes, and so that's why I think them making the tournament this year is imperative to continue to grow the excitement for this program under Ben McCollum. And I mean, if they don't make it, that's 3 straight years of no tournament.
It is.
At Iowa, that just can't happen. That cannot happen.
Well, what about an NIT championship?
We'll get into that next week because that's a whole different ballgame.
Let's wait until that actually happens. Let's see if the Hawks can just secure a tournament bid, and we don't need to dive into the depths of playing in the NIT.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, a lot going on for both the Iowa women and men. We'll keep you updated both on this podcast and over on ourquadcities.com. But alongside Joel Kellar, I'm Evan Denton for the Hawkeye Headquarters Weekly Podcast.